Hey everyone, it's Diane, the American blogger behind the Living Abroad lifestyle blog, Oui In France. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get right into it. Today I have a language learning video about the word what. How do you say what in French when you need someone to repeat themselves? Let's get right into it. Okay, so sometimes you need someone to repeat what they've said. Maybe you didn't quite hear, that's common, or maybe the more likely one, especially when you're just learning French, is you didn't understand. I've been there, I get it. But let's start with number one, the most polite way to say what. And it's the word spelled just like comment in English, but it's pronounced in French, comment. Kind of like come on, but without the on. So it's just comment, comment. So someone says something, you're totally lost, you say, comment? That means what in a very polite way. It's not rude, it's not anything you can't say to your grandma, to someone you don't know. It works in all situations. If you didn't hear, if you didn't understand, you say comment, and the person is going to repeat themselves. So that's number one. Okay, number two. The literal translation of what is quoi. Q-U-O-I. Quoi? Someone says something you haven't understood or you just didn't hear and you say, quoi? What? Now, it's the second most polite. It's more casual, more familiar. Say it with people you know. Say it in casual social situations. It's not rude by any means, but if you want to make the best impression, stick with number one, comment. But quoi is perfectly fine too. And I've said it just out of a natural reaction, just like we would in English. Like someone says something that's kind of unbelievable and your reaction is, what? Really? I can't believe it. So you could say quoi, like just disbelief as well. And also be aware that quoi is kind of a filler word, a tag word, like we would use in English, like or so, that we kind of tag on to the end of sentences. It's a bad habit. You'll hear it a lot though. So you'll hear people say things like, I don't know, il fait beau quoi? Like, it's nice out, right? It's nice out. Like, really? Like, I don't know. It's just like. So you'll hear quoi being used as something other than what. So listen for that, but don't use it, okay? Moving on. Okay, so the next one is pardon, or pardon in English. It sounds a little old-fashioned in English, but in French, it's totally not. So that's when you haven't heard someone. I guess if you haven't understood them as well, but take for example, someone says something, you're lost, you say, pardon? What? Pardon? Can you say that again? So feel free to just say, oh, pardon? What's that? And that'll work totally fine as well. Okay, this next one is, huh? It's kind of like huh in English, and you'll hear it all the time. It's spelled H-E-I-N. It's not exactly a word, it's more of a sound. And this is not one you want to use with your boss or someone you want to impress. It's someone who you're familiar with. Use it with people you know. And it's just, huh? Eh? Kind of like that. Put your own variation on it, but it literally means, huh? Eh? Don't know what you said? Repeat yourself, please. Okay, the last one is kind of a two-parter, and it's maybe for someone who's a little more intermediate in French, because it's a full sentence of literally saying, I did not understand, or I did not hear. So you would just say, I did not understand. Je n'ai pas compris. Je n'ai pas compris. That's I didn't understand. So you could say, comment? Je n'ai pas compris. What? I didn't understand. Or you could just say, I didn't hear if you really didn't hear. Or you want to say face. You don't want to admit you didn't understand. Feel free to say, je n'ai pas entendu. Je n'ai pas entendu. I didn't hear. And you could even put a sorry in. Again, no need to apologize, but I do it. I'll say, oh, désolé, je n'ai pas entendu. And then you point to your ear or whatever. So feel free to be literal as well if you could manage the whole sentence. And I have one final tip. Okay, so my final tip is actually kind of using the context of the sentence to help you ask a question to figure out what you didn't quite understand. And it's really helpful when you first arrive in France. Trust me, I was lost the first year, first 2 years, if we're being honest. And that was with a decent level of French. So it takes time. If you're struggling, if you're just, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm lost, trust me, it's normal. I'm there with you. Feel free to write for support anytime. My info's down below in the comments. But let me get back on topic. My last tip is to use what was said in the sentence to your advantage. So let's say someone says, I'm going to the supermarket because I forgot my green beans. Okay, silly sentence. You might not know the word for green beans, or you might not hear it, but you'll recognize the word for supermarket. So let me give you the sentence. Je vais aller au supermarché parce que j'ai oublié mes haricots verts. I'm going to the supermarket because I forgot my green beans. Ah, okay. Maybe that's a big mouthful. It is. But you recognize supermarché. So you could just say back to the person, supermarché? And they'll say, and they'll basically be able to respond to you and say, oui, 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 comme je vous ai dit, je vais au supermarché, j'ai oublié mes haricots verts. They're indignant about this. They want you to understand. And on that second time, now you've picked up that they forgot something. And you're like, ugh, they're going to the supermarket, they forgot something. What is that last word? And as you get better with French, you'll pick up more and more words. So your sentence that you're using to check might sound more like, oui, tu vas au supermarché parce que tu as oublié quelque chose? You forgot something, and then they'll say, oui, oui, mes haricots verts. And you're like, oh, what is that word? And then you'll figure it out. So that's just an example where you can use what you've heard the person say, hone in on that one word or the two words that you've understood, and repeat it back to them in the hopes that maybe they'll repeat themselves, they'll say it differently. And again, feel free to combine any of these words that I've given you. So, comment? Je n'ai pas compris. Tu vas au supermarché? Make a little face, put your hands up. It's okay. Don't feel embarrassed. Just roll with it. Everyone's been more or less pretty nice, happy to help, because a lot of times French people would rather have you struggle with French than for them to try their hand at English. It's been true in my experience. Think about how you would feel, you know? So I don't know, use my tips, see if they help you. Hopefully you've learned something. And this last tip is particularly helpful for people who give you way too many details. My mother-in-law, for example, the story always gets convoluted with a ton of details that you just don't need. So feel free to cut in, excusez-moi, tu vas au supermarché pour... You know, just cut in, get to the chase, skim out the details, and try to get to the point of whatever the person's trying to tell you by repeating whatever they've said back to them. Okay? All right, that wraps up my video on how to say what in French. Hopefully you learned something. Let me know below in the comments what you'd like to see next time. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe above, click that button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.